So you want to know how to find the value of each expression of a limit. So in this certain question, we're given 3 lines here with 2 gaps. This is all the same limit. So to evaluate question number 1, the answer is going to be -1. And the reason why is because it's asking for as x approaches 0 from the left. If you look at the x value of 0, and you look at the left side, you'll notice that y is -1, right? And in all these equations, it's just asking you to find y. They already give you your x. Your x is always down here. Negative, positive, nothing. Negative means from the right, positive means from the left, and nothing means that it's considering both limits. So if we look over here at C, you can see that there's no plus or negative. That means it's considering both limits. And if you look at 0 here, where x equals 0, notice how there's a gap between the lines. So there's a hole right here, right, which means that the value doesn't exist, but it's approaching the value. And then there's a gap, so the line doesn't continue here. If you ever see that the line doesn't continue and it's giving you a limit and there's no plus or negative, most likely it's going to be does not exist if there's a gap. So the answer is does not exist. For this one, it asks at 2 from the left. If you see 2 over here, from the left, it approaches the value of 2. The reason why we don't consider the whole here is because this is just an estimation. We don't need to consider both limits, right? Because if it was approaching from 0, it's asking do both limits approach the same value? No, they don't, as shown here. They approach different points, so it doesn't exist. But here, yes, it approaches a common value of 2. So the answer would be 2. And then from the right side, which is what the plus means, it approaches it at 0, because from the right, this is where the x and y is, and that's at 0. And again, we disregard the whole. But then, in this one, it's asking us to consider both the left and right side. But the thing is, it's not a continuous line, right? There's a gap, and don't be fooled by the closed point here. If there's a gap, it means does not exist. It doesn't matter if there's a point here. So it does not exist, right? And then g of 2, if it ever asks you something like this without a limit, basically what you're doing is you're just evaluating at a certain point, not at whether or not it approaches it or not. And in this scenario, the closed dot is actually related to the answer here. That's what it's equal. But if the closed dot didn't exist, then likely there would be no answer. And then for h, it's asking as it approaches 4. So if you look at 4 over here, it's asking for both sides. So 4, this is where your x and y is. And it's asking from this side and from this side. And at this point, there doesn't seem to be any like holes or anything, no gaps. So the answer would be